Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another Run Pure update. PGA is back in full swing and our members have been crushing it with all of the great content we've been putting out. And speaking of crushing it, we had some monster hits this past weekend thanks to our guy Sepp Straka, who was one of AP's top picks for the Honda Classic. The Discord was overflowing with big wins this weekend, including a monster shipper by JN Gingery 912, who won over $275K on DraftKings. AJG 12991 pulled in $100K on DraftKings as well, and of course, AP himself rode Straka to a $50K win to cap off a great PGA weekend for Run Pure Sports. We'll be producing PGA content throughout the week, both free and premium, including main slate and showdowns. So make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on those notifications so you don't miss out when we drop any content. And speaking of PGA, we are 1 week away from the Players Championship, one of the biggest events of the year. So let's recap last year's event when Big T took down the PGA Millie Maker.
Anytime I can get 4 par 5s with Bryson, I'll take Bryson still. I'll take my chances, but I'm taking JT at 20-1. I don't even care that we like the same dude. I got to find something in the mid-range here. Let's see.
Take Burns, you take Connors.
Yeah, definitely. I want Connors. I'm taking Sergio at 80-1 for my mid-range. Harmon's 225-1. Dylan Smith just made fun of me. Sergio, yeah, he's 80-1. Dylan Smith, stop. Chris Myers says Big T is going to take advantage of himself tonight. That is not true either. The wife is waiting for me. I guarantee that. So stop.
Yeah, wife's waiting for you.
She text me during the show asking me when I'm coming up, so stop.
Sign up today for a premium subscription to Run Pure Sports and take advantage of our combo deal with SaberSim to dominate in PGA as well as other sports this year. Access our content for all sports in addition to SaberSim's revolutionary DFS optimizer and projection system for one low monthly price. That's it for this week. As always, we will be back for more. Make sure you guys keep an eye out on Twitter. I've been giving out some PGA winners myself. But with that being said, make sure you do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got a new NASCAR show debuting this Sunday, but in the meantime, let's keep running pure.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports NBA Hardwood Show. I am your host, Mangone, and I am here with DC, but I am here with Big T, as our boy Uncle Russ calls him. We are here on the show. We got to go to Big T first because we've heard a lot of trash talk from Title. You know, he gets to host these shows and talk how he's going to 3-dribble rule Big T to death. So I got to leave the floor open to Big T to talk some trash and get everything off his chest. He's been watching behind the paywall for a while. So Big T, are you pumped to be back on the free show? And the floor is yours.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on the free show. I just listened to this dude chirp all freaking for months and months. He chirps. All I'll say is last time I was on a bender off the Millie, not in shape, hadn't played in 8 months. This time I've been playing. I'll have no excuses. If he beats me, he beats me. He's going to get my best or my close to my, he's going to get my best version of a 38-year-old Big T.
Yeah, I mean, right after you get in the high school reunion too, right? You got all the mojo flowing. So
the game's in good shape right now. Yeah, still not in perfect shape. I'm not in DC shape. I saw the picture the other day. I'm not looking like that, but I'm in a lot better shape than I was the last time we played Mr. Titletown.
Can't wait to see what happens with that. DC, how is it going over with you? And also, it sounds like we're trying to get you your planned work. Your planned work that you were going to get to Big T's. You have the invite. You're in. And it sounds like Big T's trying to rope you into a matchup. So is there anyone you want to call out?
I'm not roping him, man. He wants the smoke.
Oh, yeah. I want the smoke. All this, all these shows, me bitching about not getting the invite to Big T's. And then one day it appears in the Discord, everybody's invited. So I give myself some credit for that. Was instantly booked my trip out there, get it on the schedule. I don't want this taken away from me. So excited for all the action. I bet on Title against Big T last time. I'm switching though. I could see in the matchup that if Big T was in shape in that matchup, I think he takes Settle down on the block. He scores at will. And I think, you've been playing a couple of months now, playing every week.
Yep.
You that conditioning, it comes back quick, right? At the beginning. Like the first time you played, I'm sure it fucking sucked. But every time after that, it comes back. I bet you'll be ready to go. So I'm back in big.
The shot's back too, DC. The shot's looking good. The shot wasn't there last time either because the legs were gone.
I don't think you're going to need
a different game.
I don't think you're going to need the shot, but yeah, I think you're scoring a lot of layups is my prediction.
I think so too. I think it's over for Titletown. It's going to be a sweet comeback.
His chance. Listen, if he gets hot from three with the step back three, it could be tough.
For sure. If his out to beat me for sure is that step back. Because I'm in shape. I'm in better shape. He's still going to be able to get that shot off. I mean, I'm still way bigger, way older than him. He's going to be able to get it off, but can he make it? If he can make it, he's going to have a chance for sure. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Because Title is good. I'll give him credit. I always call it as I see it. He was better than I thought he would be that first time. He was a legit player, and he's way younger than me, way quicker. I give him all that, but I think I can get the job done. I feel good about it.
I like it.
All right, well, DC, we got to get your breakdown on everything else, all the other matchups. Big T, who else is playing? So obviously there's me and Rubio.
Don't be leading in like you don't know you're going against Rubio and Uncle T. Don't be leading in like you don't know that kind of stuff.
I know that one. I don't know if there's any others.
Well, I haven't been on a free show, so people haven't heard it. But I mean, Rubio, he comes into my house and calls me out on my own court and then loses 21-0 and has to leave. I mean, how embarrassing, Rubio. 21-0, and then you got to pack up and freaking ship it out. I mean, have you ever got skunked in something, DC? 21-0, like in anything?
Certainly nothing that I like challenged the other person. Come on. I don't even.
And the best part was after he got beat 21-0, he's like, I got to score. We got to at least play one more, just to 5. Let's play a quick 1 to 5. I get the ball, though, he said. I said, that's fine. Okay. And then 5-0, he still got to leave. So he got beat 5-0 after the 21-0 and had to ship it out.
You can't come back from 21-0. Like, what, you want 1 pity point up to 5?
Yeah.
You're just setting yourself up for further embarrassment.
And then he had the balls to tell people that I just took him to the post, which wasn't true even remotely. I hit like 7 threes. Stop freaking lying, Rubio. And that I say all this leading into I got Mangone over you, Rubio. Hoop was throwing that 3-1 line out. Give me the plus 300. I gotta have Mangone against Rubio.
Mangone, Rubio. You obviously titled Big T. Who else was playing?
We got who was the well, I tried to lock in freaking Hoop and JSU, but yesterday, like always, Hoop, he comes in chirping with Titletown on all these shows. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Whose name's freaking Hoop? They put the screws to him yesterday, and he just straight siege Homer Bush's gift. Hoop just right back in the bushes. Hoop, you can't beat a 4'3" JSU? Come on, Hoop. We got to lock this bet in. Mangone called him out. What'd you do, Mangone? $1,000? You called him out? I said I got 1,000 on JSU.
I said I'd take JSU. I would back him in that game for sure. So yeah,
JSU plays, right? He plays.
JSU hasn't played since the Super Bowl RG party 2 years ago.
He hasn't played in a while, but
I
think it'll take JSU too.
Yeah. You better be on JSU because Hoop is scared to play him. It's come on, Hoop.
DC, who do you have in me versus Rubio? Who do you think was that one last year? Just to give you context, I passed out. I didn't make it through the game, so
I did lose. I think 200 on that matchup last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, are you going to be? How many Red Bulls are you going to have beforehand?
DC, I don't know. Well,
don't be giving him a pity pick either. Say who you're actually picking. If you got Rubio, tell him to his face.
No, Rubio's just. I mean, listen. I hear this Rubio story. Big T, you're telling me he's always.
It was a different game, to be fair, though. I am a lot better than him, so it wasn't a fair fight. He's
always talking about how good he is at golf, and then it turns out
he did get waxed on the golf course.
The story seemed not to be true. So you know what? I got to go with my Mangone here.
Let's go. Let's get on the Mangone train.
We got our producer saying, imagine betting against Rubio.
Rubio. To be honest, I've never seen Rubio win in anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see.
I mean, he got owned by Uncle T on the course too. Like he called Uncle T. Uncle T's like 50 now. He called him out. Same type thing. Like Rubio called me out on the court. He called out Uncle T in golf. All this shit talk, blah blah blah. And then he lost by how much did he lose by, man? Going like 15 strokes or something.
Yeah. He was talking like he was going to beat you by 30, and then he backpedaled.
And now he's in the chat too with me. He's like, we'll play, but I have to get 25 strokes or something. Come on, Rubio. Like, come on.
Tough scene for the dude who's faster than Tyreek Hill, or just as fast.
Do I need to bring my clubs to this event?
You actually should. We're definitely gonna play. Oh, I don't know when. Definitely, we're gonna play at some point though. So yeah. We could get a nice little maybe like 4-on-4 or scramble or something.
I don't want to be stuck back at home watching college basketball with Boynton, so I better get
you and Stevie Boynton on the couch watching the March Madness while everyone else gone.
No.
I mean, at least Stevie will make sure you have a cold beer at all times. Stevie will definitely make sure that's happening.
The drinking competition watching college hoops.
I would go through a lot of cold beers if I'm on the couch watching March Madness with Boynton. I'll tell you that.
I know Gary was trying to get a drinking competition going.
Wow, a couple drinking competitors.
I don't even need a competition. It's just a self-competition.
I definitely got DC in the drinking contest. I've seen him excel in the drinking pits.
You got DC or G Rising in that? Because
Rising. First of all, the drinking competition too is not one day. Like G Rising, maybe one day G Rising wins, but then he's dead the next day. That doesn't count. You're eliminated when you're dead the next day. It's like an overall weekend type thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that man did an Undertaker gift. We were like, "Where's G Rising?"
No,
he popped up on the couch,
the next
popped
day,
another Modelo. I mean, it was impressive.
It was impressive until the next day when he was dead the whole day.
His issue is I think he'll be smoking too much, right? I mean, that's his issue.
G Rising, I don't even know if he's coming or not.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But DC, you'll contend in that drinking competition. You definitely got the stamina for it too as well. I'm sure
especially in a multi-day event. It's
no, it's a multi-day. It's house rules and it's a multi-day event. It's not a one day. It's not a sprint. It's the whole weekend. Whoever gets the most down and stays functional.
Yeah, is it golden tea?
You're allowed to be drunk, but you got to at least be functional. You can't. I mean,
I'm a functional drunk.
G Rising couldn't even play cornhole the second day.
No, come on now.
Big T. Gary's asking if the what's it called? The golden tea's all set up. We got that.
The golden tea is another. It's officially set up in the basement, and it's a good setup down there. So that's going to be another event that people are going to be involved in. Lots of fun stuff. I'm excited for it.
Me too.
We do need to book DC a hoop matchup though. With I think Dunkel's the right matchup for him, Mangone. I think it's a pretty level height. I mean, Dunkel's definitely bigger, but DC's in way better shape. Dunkel's got to be out of shape. So I like that matchup. I think we can get that on the books as long as Dunkel agrees and doesn't go like Hoop and Homer Bush into the bushes.
I can ask on the bet show tonight. We got the bet show on the Run Pure Bets channel. I'll be on there with JJ.
Yeah. You're on with them tonight. Well, let's get this booked on this golf show tonight. We need another match on the books.
I'll definitely be asking about it. We'll have to see. Uncle T will be there. And Uncle T he's been talking some trash to me.
Uncle T, this is what he picks all the weakest links too. He's not like, why is he coming after you and Rubio? Why doesn't he go after like Snyder?
I don't know. It's fine. I said, Uncle T, I said, if you want the smoke, you can have it. I was going to try and let him go.
The good part Mangone's got for him too is he's like the underdog role, so he can shock a lot of people by coming out and getting some dubs.
Yeah, I said to Uncle T, I said you can't say your nephew can beat me and then ask for even odds. You know what I mean? I'm getting plus money versus everyone. I don't care. So Uncle T, I'm coming for you now too. We'll have fun on the bet show. Snyder will be there. Snyder looks like he wants to get some action on people in basketball. So DC, if Dunkel doesn't come through, I can switch over.
Once we get all the official matchups on the book, I might even like get the whiteboard out and put some official lines and take some actual wagers.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that more leading up. You got the golf show tonight, so I'm sure you guys will talk a little trash about that tonight because that's always a good time on the premium golf show. It's always a nice one. But hey, we got a nice big NBA slate tonight, and on top of being a big NBA slate, we got someone's winning $1 million tonight playing NBA, right? I got myself a ticket into that, so I'm pretty happy. I'm sure Big T, he's probably bought like 1,000 entries in there because he's #SoRich, but it should be a fun time. Hopefully, if you're in that Million Maker, you got that Run Pure logo at the top, getting that good mojo going. Before we kind of dive into everything, I want to say, guys, like and subscribe to the video. 304 watching, 115 likes. Let's get those moving here. We got Big T on the free show here. And then also want to mention the members never win segment. Listen, we have had some really nice hits. I'm going to talk about the PGA stuff, which we had a really great video. If you want to go back and watch, kind of talking about the process of what happened this past weekend. AP gave out his workbench play of the day as Sepp Straka. He won the whole tournament, and AP took down 50K in PGA in the $200 single entry contest. Then AJG12991, he won 100K in PGA. And then
my boy too, AGG. I got to shout him out. He's a poker guy. DC knows the poker streets. He's won probably multiple millions in poker. One of the best online people. His name's Alex Greenblatt. One of my buddies from the casino. So it was his first big poker win, or first big DFS win. Tons of big poker wins. First 6-figure win in DFS. So congrats, my man. I love my boy Alex.
Yep, nice hit for him. And then JN Gingery, he played man, he didn't even play much money. I don't remember how much it was, but it was like
$144. I remember the 44.
Yep, 144 and a 275.
I mean, that's a day. Like, have a freaking day. 144, and that's the beauty of DFS, right? You can put $144 in and win 275 freaking K. That's just unbelievable.
I showed one of my buddies it because he was, he knows work for the site, or he's like basically like, hey, like he was asking about the site a little bit. And I said, yeah, look at this. One of the subscribers, they won, $275,000 playing this much money. He was like, how's that possible? Which that's just DFS. If you don't know it, like
how many times do we hear it though? Like all three of us have heard it a million. Oh, you can't win playing one entry in this. You can't do this. You need 150 entries. You need this. You need to be a pro. You need algorithms. You need all this crap. No, you don't. You just need to pick winners. Yeah, it's harder to win with one entry, but it's also harder to or easier to lose with 150.
You just got to hit the nuts. You pick all the right dudes. There you go.
Yep. Definitely have to do that. It's definitely important to do it. And hey, one entry too, like, if you play 150 and you lose for like a couple weeks, it gets painful.
It adds up in a hurry. I can verify that.
Yeah. We all can.
At certain times, if you pop 150 in there and you don't win for a few weeks, it adds up in a hurry there. Yeah. If you put 144 in each week, it doesn't add up as quick. I'll tell you that.
You can afford your McDonald's every day then. That's the extra $6. You're good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Before we dive in, one last thing, guys, subscribe to that video. Hit that red button. We'd appreciate it. Get to check out all the content that we have over here at Run Pure Sports. And we also got some more Showdown content, which has been great for the PGA stuff. Big T, why don't you tell the people a little bit about that? Because I think there's like a nice little partnership, too, we got with Mayo Media Network as well. So we're going to be pumping this Showdown content for the PGA Street. So tell the people a little bit about that, Big T.
Yeah, super excited. I think our golf content, I love all of our content, first of all. I mean, basketball, football, baseball as it comes. But golf, I think golf is our best sport from top to bottom. I mean, we have just a loaded crew, including people in chat that just pound the golf streets. So we're like, why is no one doing Showdown shows at night for these? Because the prize pools are massive. You're still getting 100Ks, 200Ks, all kinds of crap for these Showdown slates. So we're like, let's do a show for the people. And then Mayo, who everyone knows in the golf streets, one of the most known golf shows on the Mayo Media Network, he reached out and said they want some Showdown content. So it just made sense for both sides. We'll be on his network Thursday and Friday nights for the Friday round and the Saturday round, which is round 2 and round 3, obviously. And then the Sunday round will be on our YouTube, just Run Pure Sports YouTube. During the majors and stuff, it might be premium, but most weeks it'll be free. So check it out. Yeah, I think I'm proud of our golf content. People know I don't just say stuff just to say it. I think we got the best golf team. I think we got the best team overall, but I'm especially proud of how good all of our guys are in golf.
Yeah, definitely awesome stuff. So be sure to check that out. Subscribe to the channel so you can get those free shows. And then I believe the round 4 is going to be premium. But hey, lots of good content.
Some of these events, though, we're going to do it free for sure, though. Like this week, we're for sure doing it free. Even if I don't even know who has it premium right now, but some of this, for sure, the bigger events is going to be premium. But like this week, we'll for sure do it free this week.
Sounds good. Let's dive into the NBA. We definitely got to talk about this slate. And man, first glance when I looked at it, I was like, this is not a slate. I mean, I liked it because I thought it was like a little different and it felt like you had to create some of your own value. And it was just an ugly slate because of a lot of the, blowout factors, right? There's a lot of big games. If you look at these spreads, like we got the Sixers game, that's 10.5 point spread. You got the Rockets game, 15 point spread. Nuggets game, 14.5 point spread. And that Suns game is, despite no Chris Paul and Booker, it's an 11 point spread. So we have a lot of those on the slate. Let's kick it off first with the Indiana Pacers, though, and the Orlando Magic. The Pacers, they are 2.5 road favorites. And Big T, I'm going to go to you first because this is a 233 total. first game of the slate. And I mean, we might see Big T 777 out there in front of everyone. There's definitely a chance I see you get on some of these guys, but Malcolm Brogdon looked like he's going to be back. And some of these prices are inflated on the Pacers. On top of that, Markelle Fultz, he's back, which he cut into some of those guards a little bit. And if his minutes limit goes up, well, then he's going to cut into some of the other usage of these guys. So this is a game that typically I would think you might stack up, but maybe with some of these guys returning and the price is inflated, maybe you're not as much on it. But what's your thoughts here on this Pacers and Magic game?
Yeah, it's we got 2 early games. I don't know. I like some of these guys. It's just the prices feel pretty fair to me now that a lot of these guys are back. Like with Brogdon back, we were liking Halliburton there for a little while, but 8,800 with Brogdon back, kind of at full strength. I just can't do it. And I don't know, just looking at a lot of these prices for both teams, like you said, even Orlando's getting guys back like Fultz, who's going to eat into some of these guards. Like I've liked Suggs and Cole Anthony pretty much all season. But, I mean, Fultz has to at least hurt a little bit to that, which then makes these prices just look a little heavy to me. Suggs, I guess, is an okay play at 5,600. Buddy Hield's been good since he's got to Indiana in this game, but 7,300 with Brogdon back, man, I just can't do it. So with this being the earliest game, and like we always talk about on both shows, the free show, I'm on more of the premium stuff, but we don't like to lock our spots unless you have major conviction, because you never know what news is going to hit in this era of the NBA. I mean, someone could get ruled out and the whole slate swings. So for me, I'm going to be off of this game. There are some fine plays. Like if you land on a Suggs or a Halliburton or Wendell Carter. I mean, Wendell Carter's almost 8K now. I like him. He's fine. Like I wouldn't totally hate a one-off play in this game, but nothing totally sticks off the page to me. I mean, Mo Bamba's going to pop a little bit in the projections too. I don't feel the need to lock up Mo Bamba in the 7:00 games.
Yeah, you don't feel the need to block up Mo Bamba in the 7:00 game because DeAndre Ayton, I mean, I'm not saying you're for sure going to have him today, but there's also Jokic. There's some good center options for sure today. And there's one in the next game that I like that we'll talk about. And I think that just locking into Mo Bamba seems wrong, at least at the center position, can really kind of mess up your construction. So I am not on this Magic and Pacers game. It seems like a full fade for me, at least when it comes to DraftKings in that big millie. I got one ticket in there. I'm playing only one team tonight, and I am not playing guys in this game. DC, I'll go over to you. Is this a game that you're going to get exposure to? Because I don't see myself going to it. I see some people asking about FanDuel picks, like Malcolm Brogdon 6'3" on FanDuel. So like, I don't hate that a little bit, but man, this is not a game I'm really excited about. How about you, DC?
Yeah, 3 for 3 on pretty much fading this game for all the reasons you guys said. Markelle Fultz coming back. I mean, he's really going to cut in, I think, to a lot of the Magic guys. He looked awesome in his first game back, 14 months off from ACL. I remember he was the #1 overall pick, like forgot how to play basketball. I think it was just mental issues, given away to the Magic. Looked good. Tears his ACL, comes back first game, looks fantastic. So I'm excited to watch him play and develop. But yeah, he's going to hurt everybody else. I don't think you can play him when you're only going to get – I think he's going to have good fantasy games, but you're looking at probably 15 to 20 minutes right now. So not really in play. It just takes away from everybody else on the Indiana side. Listen, when you've got Brogdon and Halliburton both in the game, they're going to have to share the basketball, and they're going to cut into each other's fantasy production. So not going to go there. And like you guys said, the value on the slate right now, pretty questionable, right? We're kind of waiting for news to open up the slate a little bit. And, you don't want to make that mistake where you lock someone in this game and you don't have huge conviction on them, like T said, and you kind of get stuck and can't move to the good news. So as of now, I don't really see playing much from this game.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Let's go over to the next one. And it's one that I want to talk about. And I'm torn because it's like that first game. And I always like to lock into stuff. And especially that center position. I really like Jared Allen today, though. I mean, the Hornets are a team that you can attack with big men for sure. We don't know if Darius Garland is going to be in. He's 7.7K. Probably not someone I'm really looking to go to, even if he is in. But hey, if you game stack this game up, I wouldn't hate it. Jared Allen, though, at 7.4 is a guy I'm considering. On the Hornets side, I actually don't even hate LaMelo Ball. I know he can be a frustrating roster at times, but the ceiling is there. And when you got those like big men trying to run up and down the court, well, Charlotte does like to push the pace. So it's a little tougher when they can get in transition. The Hornets can definitely thrive. And I think this game stays close. Big T, let's go back over to you. this is another one of those spots where, like, I think you could get a little bit of a mini game stack in. I like Jared Allen a lot. He's someone I'm trying to play today on this slate, but if I play him and then I play Ayton, well, then I can't play Jokic. And then on top of that, like, it's just my center spot gets messed up. And if I put him in the util, like, it just might mess up my flexibility. So that's one of my big debates on this slate is, what do I do with Jared Allen against a Hornets team that gets destroyed against big men? What are you doing with it, Big T?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I'm attacking this slate based on the Millie Maker tonight just because it's the big tournament. I'm playing even more upside based than usual. I mean, it's
how many
place.
teams do you have in that team?
Just two teams in that. I'm not even going to play my normal 150. So I'm literally just going to play two teams, all upside too. Because I mean, it's $1 million. It's the normal Millie Maker format where it dips big time getting to second place. So
what's your thought there? Not doing your 150. You just want to stay focused on.
Yeah, it just messes me up a little too much with even just time and stuff. So I've been doing it. This is the first time I've done this. I just kind of want to focus on the two teams and just more upside based.
Tony, I did the same thing. I said I normally do three teams and I wasn't putting three in there. I just said I'm doing one. Just gonna just focus.
Yeah, and just focus on it.
I mean, I think that's interesting for the more casual players to hear kind of how you would approach it. Not to the extent of like a live final, right? Where of course you're just gonna play
similar though.
But that's the approach. And when you start thinking in 150s, it can be hard to narrow it down to two, right? It just can be. I've been there myself, so I hear you.
And I'm definitely going more upside based than I normally do too, which means more like game stack. Where if you somehow, I mean, again, you're not playing for overtime. I'm not saying that, so don't hear it that way. But if you do somehow get a game stack where you get an overtime, it just gives you that extra boost up the leaderboard, and that's what we want. Obviously, we're playing for first place even more. I mean, normal tournaments, you're playing for first two, but I mean, in a normal structure, you're still happy to finish up there. Tonight, you're not going to be happy with a second place.
What is it, like 40% of the prize pool, something like that?
It's bad, whatever it is. I don't have it up, but it's bad. It's bad.
It's not great, and then all the other contests aren't great too because they just want to enter it. So
I mean, because your big entry is going to be the Millie, so it's not the best format. It's one of the reasons I'm just literally doing those two and just another thing I could do is like play the 150 normal and then do the two, but it's just not worth it when the entry's higher too. Yeah. But I say all that leading into Mangone's point. Like, I don't if I was doing 150, I don't love this game. But there is pieces, and we've seen Charlotte shoot out at times. Cleveland does play slow, which worries me a little. But again, it's going to be low owned for the most part this game. And you do have pieces. Like, even if Garland plays at 7,700 in a tournament, I mean, you could pair him with Jared Allen and you run it back with LaMelo. You throw in one more piece from this game, whoever it is, that you can find a piece in the cheaper range that could stay. Like Kevin Love could pop off at times like we've seen. Montrezl Harrell's had games at times. But I don't hate like a game stack in a format where you want first place, because Charlotte, we've seen them get carved up at times. We've also seen them get hot on offense at times. I don't know. It feels like a good game stack type spot. And I do agree with like Jared Allen. If it's a normal day and I'm playing my 150, I don't really want that much Jared Allen. But again, in this format where it's a tournament, I like it. I mean, he could pop off against Charlotte. I would play a guard with them, which is more than likely going to be Garland. I think he'll play tonight. I like that combo just because they can really get it going. And I don't like Jared Allen as much with Mobley in there, but I do like the upside it gives you in something like this.
Yeah, that's the one I really want to. He's the guy that I really want to play a lot of. I think it's a good spot. I think the run back to LaMelo Ball is a really good option. I kind of like a lot what you said there, Tony.
I could see LaMelo and Garland kind of getting back and forth too a little bit. The All-Star, they were both at All-Star weekend. I don't know. I could see them chirping each other.
I haven't seen correct me if you've seen one, but a minutes restriction on Garland at all.
Why has he even been out? Because he looked good at the All-Star
sore back, and he's missed like 5 or 8 games. That's a little bit concerning, right? I mean, I don't know if you come back from a sore back that made you miss multiple games and you can play 35 minutes. Maybe though, if he can, like we've seen, who's ever got the lead role. I mean, even Goodwin himself, right? But if Garland's healthy, feeling good, he'll take all those minutes right back from Goodwin and kind of do his thing. So I like that in tournaments. And then you guys didn't mention. I think I like the Allen call, and I wouldn't play both these guys in the same lineup, but I think Evan Mobley in this game, this is the kind of game you want, right? Where he can kind of play with instincts. Like when it gets bogged down into kind of the half court type game, he looks a little lost to me. But when the ball's getting back and forth, he can run, get out, steals, blocks, get in transition. That's where he's going to thrive. And who better to play than Charlotte, right? That's how they play. They play kind of like razzle dazzle basketball almost, where he can kind of just go do his thing. So I think Mobley I never get him right, so take it with a grain of salt. But I do think, at least in theory, he should have some upside here.
Yeah, no, I don't hate it here for him. He's talked a little bit about getting more aggressive, but there is some risk where it's like Kevin Love could be the guy get there, and also playing that Millie, the upside isn't always the best. He feels like a better cash game play at times, but
with Mobley, you want Jared Allen to get in foul trouble or something.
Yeah.
Mobley's freaking good though. Like Mobley is. I mean, that dude is a stud.
I think he should play the 5 defensively. Probably is his best position though, right? Where he can just kind of do his thing and then
Ideally, but with Jared Allen there, it's hard.
It's hard though. Yeah, like those two together aren't the ideal fit, I don't think.
It's a tournament play though, like DC said, where just say it. I mean, we always think in like logical outcomes, but what happens when Jared Allen gets 2 quick fouls or rolls an ankle, or who knows what happens in the freaking NBA? All of a sudden, Mobley is low owned and could crush.
Yeah, and he'll still be a good play regardless. It's not even like
and he's not going to kill you if none of that happens. Exactly.
Right.
All right, let's go over to this next game. Guys, hit that like, subscribe to the video first before we get to the next one. Helps us out a ton. We got Caesar in the chat. He's saying, we got to get those likes up. The freeloaders can't even hit that button. It's very hurtful. So let's get those likes up. But let's talk about this game because it's the Knicks and the Sixers. And we saw this game the other day, and James Harden dropped 80 fantasy points. I think it was against them. So if that's the case, Big T, he has to do it again, right? He dropped 80 last time. So 80's coming this time, no doubt. Joel Embiid, he dropped 60. I mean, they put up a huge score. This game is in Philadelphia. I believe this could be Harden's first game in Philly as well. So who knows if he's been hitting those strip clubs out there. I don't know how they rank for all across the country, but Harden, he is going to be out there, and I think he'll get the job done. And I think he's a really contrarian shooting guard spend-up option today, because I think other people are going to go to some other options, and I just don't think Harden's going to get as much ownership. I'm considering him as a tournament play spend-up with a lot of value on this slate. I'm not really interested in too many other guys like RJ Barrett. His price is up at 7.5. He's been solid. You could use him as a run back, but not something I'm too excited about. And then Joel Embiid is always in play, but there's just better centers for me on this slate. So it's really Harden or bust for me in this game. Big T, how about you? Are you on the Harden train or are you off in tournaments?
I mean, first of all, we gotta. I know I'm going to get killed by the small sample police that always hates it, but my God, they look good together, Harden and Embiid.
Obviously, yeah.
I mean, it's a small sample, so like things could change. But man, when you get Embiid space and they just create so many fouls on the defense, so much pressure on the defense. I thought it was a really good trade for both teams when it happened, and I still do think it, because I mean the situations for both teams just weren't going to work. So I think it's a great deal for both teams, but man, it looks like a good deal for Philly when they got these two dudes healthy. They look absolutely nasty together, and I don't see why that changes tonight against the Knicks. Again, I almost compare this more as a slate where we're playing for upside. If you're playing it differently, I probably don't like these guys as much. But, I mean, you can stack this game up a little bit. You have your clear-cut guys, Embiid and Harden, who I think they correlate pretty good together, especially on DK. Oh, I'm looking at the FanDuel freaking pricing. I'm looking at the wrong one. How much are they on DK? I got the wrong one.
DK Harden is 11.2, and then Embiid is 11.6.
Okay, so they're priced in the 11Ks, but I don't think they'll be super high owned at those prices either. Like they won't get, and especially not together. People don't like playing the stars together. And I think you can do it, especially with some cheaper guards that we have in some other spots that we'll get to. The nice part about Philly now is these guys are going to get all the freaking usage too. So I think you can go with them. And then, RJ Barrett feels expensive. He's been really good lately. You can play him. Randall, I don't like Randall as much going against a guy like Embiid inside. I usually don't play bigs against Embiid. So the second guy, I don't really see that much I like besides RJ Barrett. How much salary does that even leave me if I played those three? Let me see.
I mean, if you play all three, probably not a lot, but I mean.
That's what I mean. It can't be much, but yeah, I mean, you're still at 4K though. Like it's a tournament. totally hate that in a build where you're trying to get to the top of the leaderboard. If they both get you 60, if you get 120 plus from those two, and RJ Barrett gets you in the 50s, I mean, you're talking that could work out. It's not my favorite build. It probably won't be where I end up, but I could see it.
All right, we got news that Garland is a game time decision, so we'll circle back and kind of.
What do we do if he sits? Do we play Goodwin at how much is Goodwin?
He's
Against
6K.
Charlotte? Yeah, you got to.
But he's 6K, man. This is not cheap anymore. Like, you sure?
They just don't have guards though, do they?
I talked about all the kind of the tracking stats before that last Goodwin game, how he ranks all just. I mean, yeah, I think he'll go off again if he gets the chance.
So DC, this is my favorite question to ask Big T. He always, what should his price be? Like, if Goodwin kept starting over and over, where would his price be at? Like, would it be 8K? Like, based
with this exact team?
Yes, like in 2 weeks from now, he's still the starting point guard. Where should his price be at?
I think between 7 and 8K.
Okay, yeah, just curious because that always puts in perspective like how cheap he is and like how much of a value is versus some other plays.
So sometimes teams like Cleveland could potentially figure out a different plan of attack, right? Like maybe they start playing through Kevin Love, but the way they've been playing these last 2 games, Goodwin is clearly a 7K player to me.
You agree, Big T? He's definitely underpriced at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if they just don't have other guards, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't feel incredibly comfortable at 7K, but I do think that it's a good price point for him in this spot, for sure.
Going back to Harden and Embiid, man, this last game, they just played each other, like you said. Mitchell Robinson fouled out in 17 minutes. And then they have he just has no chance, right? Trying to defend Embiid, and then he's got to defend Harden the next possession. It's just time and time again, they're coming right down. And then after him, once he's in foul trouble, which he will be, then it's Taj Gibson is their back.
It's Jericho Sims too. They're talking about giving him more run, which that's not.
They just have no chance against those 2 guys. They're just
who does? That's my question. Who does have a shot against them two?
Yeah,
not many.
Giannis and somebody, I guess. But man.
Yeah, the Bucks. I mean,
they are going to create so many fouls between the 2 of them.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's just and you can. One of the reasons I like it so much is Embiid can kind of rest on offense half the time because Harden does this thing, and then Embiid's just got to stand in the corner, and Harden will get to the line or score a bucket or whatever. So yeah, I love the combination, and who knows? We have a small sample size, but so far they're crushing together. That could potentially continue when you look at who they're playing with. I will say a little bit worried about the matchup, the individual matchup for RJ Barrett. I assume it'll be Thibault on him pretty much all game, which that scares me a little, but yeah, I get it.
I should be clear too. I would definitely not play him unless you're playing at least one of the 2. The 2 Philly guys. I would never play RJ Barrett as a one-off tonight.
Sure.
Yep. Agree on that. Let's shift on over to the next game. We can talk about the Kings and the Pelicans, where, man, the Kings are definitely a team. They made that trade for Halliburton, and I don't know, it hasn't worked out too well. I mean, it's been fine, but I just don't think it's going to be it. De'Aaron Fox, 8.1K, though. Pretty good price tag on him. I mean, we play DFS, right? We don't care how the Kings play. They're not going to be a good basketball team, but De'Aaron Fox's usage is definitely up. Trey Lyles started the other day and was phenomenal. I assume he starts again here, especially as the Pelicans. They like to play big too. They like to put Jackson Hayes in there at the 4. Valanciunas is there at the 5. This seems like a spot where you can definitely have some interest in these guys. I think Hayes is an interesting value. Lyles is going to be a chalkier value on the slate. And then the 2 guards going back and forth, Fox and McCollum, they're both up there. Like I said, 8-1 for Fox, 9K for McCollum. They're both in play, and I wouldn't even sleep on Brandon Ingram at 7-9. He definitely has had some struggles, but he has upside in a matchup against the Kings. It's certainly there. So Big T, we'll go to you first. This is a game that the total's 233. Definitely a good total on this slate. This is not expected to blow out. The Pelicans are 6.5-point favorites. So what are you doing with this game? Is this one that you're going to get some exposure to here?
Yeah, I mean, since the trade, I definitely like Fox more than I did before. All the offense is running through him. Sabonis looks really good too. But for me, it's Fox. I mean, everything's running through him. They're using him how they should have used him all along. So he's still cheap too. What is he, 8,100? That looks like more than fair price point. McCollum for New Orleans has been incredible too since the trades. So that would be where I'd start for sure. I'm not as high on Ingram.
Real quick, when we talk about Fox, his minutes. Here's the minutes the last 5 games: 41, 36, 40, and 41. That's what you want to see out of an 8.1K guy. Like, that price is going to go up. He's going to be back to that 9K range. It seems like
if he keeps playing 40 minutes, he might be 10K. We were talking about the prices. Like, he is a very, very good play at 8K for sure. Yeah, and the minutes aren't going anywhere. They don't have anyone else that's going to run the point and control the offense. So he's going to get these minutes as long as the game stays close.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you think of McCollum on the opposite side? Because obviously McCollum's interesting at 9K. Like, he certainly can get 50 fantasy points, and that's enough. Like, what do you think of him? Because he's definitely someone I'm considering at that shooting guard position.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fox and McCollum are two of the best plays of the slate. I mean, look at McCollum since the trade. He's not getting as many minutes as Fox, but look at his production. I mean, 57, 42, 52, 53, 47, 45. He's paid off that 9K price tag every game. Sacramento is as good of a matchup as you could have for a guy like McCollum. So, yeah, I'd play these guys together. I love both of them. It's just a matter of who else. And I'm still pissed at myself the other night. Monday night is the only night I'm not like at the computer all night because I got that basketball league. And I freaking missed the Trey Lyles news. I never miss news. I was so pissed. I had other dudes in there that I would have never played over Lyles. Then he starts and crushes. I'm still mad, but he's 3,300 again. And as long as he starts, he's a borderline lock for me. He's just a good player when he gets minutes. 3,300, I just really don't see a reason to fade that. And Jackson Hayes, like you guys talked about, 4,900 is a little bit of a stretch, but I think he's a good play too tonight at that price point.
Yep, agree on that. DC, give me your thoughts on this game. Talk about Fox, talk about some of those Pelicans. And here's a question for you. McCollum or Donovan Mitchell? Both shooting guard eligible, point guard as well. $200 difference. Mitchell, I think, is going to have more ownership, but I think they're both good plays. What's your thoughts there on them in that 1v1?
Yeah, close between those two, but I like obviously the matchup for Mitchell's great against Houston, but I think that game much more likely to blow out. This one, I think, way more likely to stay close, be back and forth. I've been on McCollum since the trade to the Pelicans, installed as a starting point guard. But he's just going to do his thing. And, I think at least I have like a kind of a bias maybe against McCollum where you're like, oh, does he really have the upside? He does. Like, he can score 40 real points in a game if he gets hot, right? He's kind of a pure scorer. And now he's got, more facilitating duties. So you've got kind of the assist there, more minutes. I think in close games, he's going to be in the upper 30s in minutes most of the time. And then listen, I mean, he could make, like I said, he could put up 40 real points. So I do think he's got upside. I've been kind of a Fox hater this year for the most part, but I'm tempted today. I'll tell you that. I mean, great matchup against the Pelicans. They're getting all the minutes, all the usage, everything you could want. So I like that Fox McCollum pairing. And I'm with you, Tony. Trey Lyles, they benched Mo Harkless, right? And said, Trey Lyles, you start a game. He plays well, plays 31 minutes. I would be shocked if he didn't start again. And I think the plan probably is for him to, get those 30 plus minutes as long as he's performing well and the team's playing well. So 3,300 seems really safe with a lot of upside too. So that's just chalk that I think you're just going to want to eat. And maybe, hopefully he's not announced a starter before lock, right? Then maybe that holds his ownership at least a little bit in check.
Yeah, it can try to. I think the only issue is
I assume he's popping in projections and everything.
And a lot of people are backloaded for stuff.
He's just so cheap.
Yeah.
It makes it tough. But it's one of those things, like, I'm fine eating chalk in NBA at times.
Yeah.
Like, if you told me he's starting at 3,300 and he was, what's the number? Even if you told me like 70%, I think I'd just lock him. Like,
well, especially on a day where there's not much value.
Yeah. 3,300. Even say it goes bad and he gets us like 15 or something. Yeah. It's still fine because he's high owned and everyone's going to have him. And I don't know. I just think you play Trey Lyles unless somehow he doesn't start or something.
You're just totally buried if you don't play the best play on the slate, right? And he goes out for 30 plus fantasy points. So.
Obviously, I think some of these Suns values are better than Lyles, like Payne, but I think Lyles is up there too.
We'll get to that game in a minute, but I definitely think Lyles is a better play than Payne.
I think I'm between you guys. I think it's very close.
We'll definitely talk about it when we get there because I do have questions about Payne, but I think if you look at projections, they're just going to say he's.
Well, the projections are for sure loving Payne, but I have questions too, like you. Like, I'm not we'll get to the game. No reason to.
Yeah, we'll get to it. I mean, like this morning I had questions and I was like, man, I feel dumb thinking about having the question, but I'm curious to talk about it now that you said that. But yeah, that game's a good one. The Kings and Pelicans, definitely one to look at. Definitely want to have some interest in. Let's go over to the Jazz and the Rockets because 228.5 total. Second night of a back-to-back to Houston. They are home. They are going to be missing some guys. It looks like Schroeder is questionable. They're already missing Eric Gordon. There's some opportunity here for Rockets, but man, they could get blown out. You could see them unload the bench a little bit. Jazz are a good team. Mitchell's 8.8K, interesting option. Rudy Gobert and Rockets have been getting beat up by centers. He's only 7'8", but man, it might not be the right slate to play a center and take up that spot with Rudy Gobert. That is the one issue I have. Big T, we'll go over to you. Is this a game that you're fading, or is this a game that if you're playing Rockets, you clearly got to run back some Jazz, I think?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to just keep saying the cop out, but it's another one of these games where if I'm playing dudes from this game, I think it's because the spreads are bigger too. Like a lot of these games have bigger spreads where if it stays close, a lot of these guys should crush. So I know it sounds like I'm just giving cop out answers, but it's how I feel. Like if you play Utah pieces, I think you should find some Houston guys to play with it. And I think there is opportunity, even in a blowout. A guy like Sengun or something could get there. And yeah, on the surface, again, this is why I didn't play 150 today, because in 150s and stuff, I don't think these guys are as good of plays. But if you're building a couple teams, I think you can stack it up, and there's definitely paths for these Houston guys to crush, even in a blowout. Like Kenyon Martin's son, I mean, he's 3,500. If you get the right lineup, he could crush even in a blowout or a regular game. So I like it. I mean, JSU keeps talking about the centers versus Houston. So I think this is the time to play Rudy Gobert. No one's going to play him. Everyone's playing all these other centers. We watched Zubac get 44 in 3 quarters last night. I don't know how much he played in the fourth, but he didn't score any fantasy points in the fourth. So I think Rudy Gobert is incredibly sneaky, and it almost falls in the same bucket. If you want to go with this game, play Donovan Mitchell, play Rudy Gobert, see who starts for Houston, and play 2 or 3 guys from Houston and stack it up like that. I wouldn't play the expensive guy. Like I wouldn't play Christian Wood in a stack like this. I'd play the guys that'll play in a blowout. And you could even go down to guys like, I mean, who's some of the cheap guys? Like Josh Christopher at 3,300 in the right situation. And the key for me, though, would be just play Gobert, play Mitchell, play a couple Houston guys with it. I think Gobert is incredibly sneaky tonight, though.
It's funny you say that because you hate Rudy Gobert typically.
I hate him, but man, they have no resistance at the rim whatsoever.
I thought the same thing too when I saw this play. I was like, I like.
And to be fair, like if I have one team, I'm never ever doing that strategy. But if I have a few teams, I think you could ship with it. I'll say that.
What if you had 2 teams?
I don't think it's going to make my 2 teams either.
That was
if
my
I have
problem
like 5 teams though, maybe I would get one in there.
Here's my question, Vic. This is my selfish question. If I had to pick another center, right, Allen or Rudy Gobert, I lean Allen over Gobert. It's close.
I think they're very similar plays though. Like I think they are somewhat safe, but if they catch the right run, I think they could crush.
Yep, I definitely agree with you on that.
I think they're very similar plays, like very, very, and I think either one of those guys could end up in the tournament winner for sure.
I agree 100%. DC, what are you doing with this game? Because, man, I'll tell you this. I've had some good success stacking up some Rocket games. When the Rockets keep it close, you get a lot of fantasy points from that other team, and the Jazz will put up fantasy points if that game stays close. Problem is, second night of back-to-back, 15-point spread. What are you doing here with this Rockets and Jazz game?
Well, I'll start with Rudy Gobert. I do like that call because, the biggest concern with Gobert, right, is that he's not going to get the minutes. It's going to be a blowout. He won't play the fourth quarter. But if that happens, it's probably because the Rockets are missing shots because Gobert is protecting the rim, right, and just cleaning up the whole game to make that game a blowout. And if it stays close at 7,800, you've got to think he's going to get there. So I do like the Gobert call. Houston side, listen, it's interesting. Like it seems to me yesterday, Schroeder started, and Kevin Porter, they said he was not healthy enough to play with the ankle. It seems to me like they're like, okay, we'll give Schroeder a chance this game. Now, Schroeder, you sit with an ankle injury. Porter, you're back in there, right? He's off the injury report. He's good to go. So assuming Schroeder does sit, what that tells me is this was kind of almost the team's plan to some extent. And now it's Kevin Porter is going to get a chance to do his thing, which could go any number of ways, right? You never know really what to expect from him, but clearly has upside, right? If he's in that lead guard role at 6,200 and going to get the minutes. I know the Jazz are tough, but they still give up 100 points most games. So I kind of like the Kevin Porter, maybe with Jalen Green, right? Eric Gordon also sitting this game out. He's been playing 35 minutes a night. And then just kind of a little feeling on Sengun tonight. Going to come off the bench behind Wood, but I don't know. The Rockets have been getting blown out, haven't been playing well. Wood it seems like he just like tilts off some games where it's just like, I'm just going to commit a couple fouls and go sit down on the bench because I don't really care. That's kind of Christian Wood in a nutshell. And if that happens, Sengun has all the upside. 4,100, nobody's going to be on him. Probably won't hurt you regardless. Probably gets blowout round if that's the way the game goes. I just think he's got a lot of outs at that price point. Good fantasy point per minute type guy. So kind of a hunch call, but Sengun I think could be a key factor tonight.
All right, Big T, we got in the chat. We got K Falik. He's in the chat. He says he's going to be on the Up the Lock show. People are looking for his Rockets wisdom. So if you want Rockets wisdom in the Discord chat, at K Falik and ask him for a chart. He'll give you all that. But Big T, why is K Falik not coming to your place in a couple weeks? We got to shame him on air here for a second. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, he said something about he's got like 75 people coming to his house. I mean, that's even more people than are coming to the Run Pure party. Like, who invites 75? How big is his house, first of all? 75 people? I mean, how rich are you, K Falik? But yeah, and he lives closer to me than like anyone. He's probably only 3 hours from me or something.
I don't know anything about K Falik's 75-person party, but I bet it's not going to be that great of a time.
But how long is this party? Like,
not better than what we're doing for sure.
Yeah.
Is this a 4-day event? Like, why can't he make it for one day?
Correct. That's the point of all. Like, he can't come up on Sunday to hang out with us or Saturday
in driving
night.
Distance too? Come on now.
Yeah, easy drive too. Like all he's got to do is get in his. I'm sure he's got like a $70,000 SUV or something. Hop in that puppy.
He can just tell the chauffeur to just drive him there, and he can build his lineups on the way. I mean, come on.
I agree. I mean, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. He's not coming.
Yeah, very hurtful, K Falik. We got to get you here. Find a way, make it happen. But we got to get those likes up too. That's another thing we got to make happen. We got like 500 watching. We got 216 likes. And listen, Big T's here. It's the free show. We're going for 300. So if you don't get 300, you ain't getting the workbench play of the day. You ain't getting my play of the day. You ain't getting DC's play of the day. So you got to get those to 300. Let's get that moving now. K Falik in the chat. He's definitely saying that it's not a good time in his place, but he's doing whatever he can to get out of it. We'll be doing the same song and dance next year, I'm sure, K Falik. But let's go over to this next game.
I got one more comment about this game. I just realized, like, one guy I think that's a terrible play, no matter if he starts or not, is Garrison Matthews. Like, that dude sucks. He's projecting good at 3,400. Yeah, I hope people play him. He freaking sucks. Give me all the other Houston guys over him.
Agree with you on that. Not one of the best values today.
He's popping in the optimizer a little bit. That was the only reason I brought it up.
Yeah, we just got news. So Duarte's out. I kind of expected him to be out. Lance Stevenson will play. I don't think Lance is making him dance today, but I know you like to play him from time to time, Big T. It doesn't seem like the right spot to do it. But that's the news that we got there. We're still waiting on the Garland stuff. That's going to be really important. Of course, K Falik, he'll be on the Up the Lock show with JSU. They'll be obviously talking about that and bring you that news. But let's talk about the Heat and the Bucks, because I like to play Giannis when he's in games that matter, the games that are going to be important, the games that are close spreads. A game against the Miami Heat is one that probably matters and probably one he's going to get out for. They have a little bit of a rivalry for sure, but Bam Adebayo at the rim is not an easy matchup. I like Giannis against like the Lakers because he can just destroy them down low. What are you doing here, Big T, with this one? Because it does make sense. If you play Jimmy, you probably want to play Giannis. If you play Giannis, yeah, he's a good raw point spend at the forward position, but even a Jimmy run back's not bad, or Gabe Vincent for cheap because there's no Kyle Lowry. What are you doing with this game? Because I think it's one that I'm considering getting exposure to on my main team, but it is tough to do with the salaries up there for sure.
Yeah, I haven't taken a ton of stands on this show, but I have a pretty good stand on this one. I just don't. I mean, 12-2 for Giannis, toughest matchup in basketball for him, or one of his toughest matchups. I can't pay 12-2 for Giannis versus the Heat. They do a pretty good job on him. I'm not saying he can't get there. He's Giannis. I mean, I made fun of Giannis. He owned me last year in the playoffs, got the job done. He's a new guy this year, crushing. But the matchup still stands that if it's 12-2, you got to put up a big boy number, and he could. But I like other spots more tonight. I'm not going to go there. These other prices are pretty fair too. I mean, Jimmy's over 9K, Bam's close to 9K, Middleton and Drew are close to 8K. I'm glad Vincent is priced above 4K too, because I never like him much. I didn't want him to be like 3,500 again, where he just popped it for everyone. For me, though, I think I'm off this game. I'm kind of off the Indiana game, and I'm off this game. So two full fades for me in these early slate.
Yeah, and Colin agrees with you. He says Bam will slow down Giannis a bit. And like, yeah, I agree, but he probably gets his full run, right? Like that's kind of one of the conversations to have with it is like
maybe, but you never know that anyways, though. Like stuff could blow out too. Like
I agree. It's so something I did look at on this slate when I was kind of digesting it. I was like, let's say I spend for I mean, you want to go down at center. Let's say you don't want to play a Jokic today. Let's just say you decide not to with one of the studs, or let's say you want Donovan Mitchell at your shooting guard or some other option, like one of the cheap ones that they have on the slate. Well, like Giannis can naturally be a spend up at the forward position. That gives you a little bit of a different construction. That's something I had noticed when building out lineups.
Nothing wrong with that either. Getting different with Giannis. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I don't love the spot, but you can't go wrong with Giannis.
Yeah, my problem was if I played Giannis, I kind of wanted to have Jimmy, and it just all didn't fit with what I wanted to do. So definitely,
it kind of falls in that same bucket, right? As we've been talking about, like if you play it, you're definitely going to want some Miami. But do you really want this game more than another game? I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm playing one team on DK, so like that, I just don't think it makes the cut. It's something I'm looking at, but I don't think it makes it there for me. DC, does it make the cut for you? And are you playing the Gabe Vincent value? It sounds like Big T is more down on him. I'm more indecisive on it. I think there's other values I'd prefer. If I land on Gabe Vincent as the last guy, I'm not just going to blow up my lineup, but it's not a guy I'm jamming into my lineups today. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm with Big T mostly on this one. Probably fading this game. Part of the problem is even if you want to stack it, you can't really do it, right? You put Giannis in there, and like all the pieces that you want are too expensive. Like Butler, Adebayo, even Tyler Hero, Middleton, Portis, Drew Holiday, like all these guys are like 7K plus, and then you've got 12-2 Giannis. So it's just hard for a game to get there when all the pieces that you want from it are so expensive. So when that's the case, and I could see a blowout here. I'm surprised Milwaukee only favored by 4.5 at home, frankly, against the Heat. They're a better team to me right now. So I'll be hoping, Milwaukee takes care of business and maybe Giannis doesn't get the full run. I don't even know if I'm going to spend up on like a true stud, Giannis, Embiid, Harden type. But if I do, Jokic, I think Giannis is behind those guys, for sure behind Jokic especially. So no way I'm getting two today in my lineup, and I'll take Joker over Giannis, which kind of takes Giannis out of play for me.
Yeah, one last question on Giannis. On FanDuel, Big T, I don't know if you're playing much FanDuel today. He's like more of a raw points guy there, and it's totally kind of a different site. And with all the value, like, is Giannis more in play on FanDuel rather than DraftKings for you?
So, I mean, yeah, technically, kind of like Luka, what I talked about yesterday, where those of you that have premium heard me talk about it, where it's easier to fit on FanDuel, but I still don't like the matchup. I mean, he's going to be higher owned on FanDuel because of it too. I just don't think he plays that good versus Miami. I like how Miami defends him, and I'm okay living with that. Like DC said, you really can't fit multiple of these guys. I just would rather play some of these other studs. So like Jokic, I'm for sure playing over him. Even like Harden and Embiid, I think I play over Giannis on this slate. So I just think I'm out on Giannis, even on FanDuel.
I did lean hard.
Don't get me wrong. Like if you have the perfect team and you see Giannis pop in your last spot, sure, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm not forcing him in there.
Yeah, I actually had Harden over Giannis on like some FanDuel teams I built out, so I thought that was interesting. DC, do you have the same agreements on FanDuel? Like the thing about it over there is it just kind of fits in, and Big T makes a good point. Like because there's so much value, like you just get jammed in a raw point play like that at the forward spot, and then that might come with more ownership for sure too.
Yeah, I still do like him better on FanDuel by a significant amount. Blocks and steals, obviously, he fills that up, and just a cheaper price point. You get up to 11.3 compared to 12.2. That's a big difference at that, especially at that price point, because but Joker's cheaper there too. He's 11K, so they're kind of comparatively priced on the sites. So yeah, I do like him better on FanDuel, but still not sure I'd get there.
All right, let's move on over to the next game. We got the Lakers at 262. We got to get them to 300 to give out those plays of the day. We got 2 games left. We got the Nuggets and the Thunder. This game is one that you get Jokic in, and Jokic against the Thunder. That sounds like free money. The problem is you got Ayton, who we haven't talked about yet. You got some other good centers that we've discussed on this slate. So, Big T, let's go to you first. You're a big Nuggets guy. How are you handling Jokic on this slate? Because he's been up and down lately. He hasn't been great, but this is the perfect matchup for it to bounce back. But also, it's the perfect matchup for the game to blow out and Mike Malone to just say, hey, Jokic, sit on the bench for that whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, and we've seen it because the Nuggets have come out of the break hot. I think they've played 3 or 4 games since the break, and they've crushed basically all of those games, which has cost them run.
Well,
I mean,
when 2 of those games are against the Kings, you better crush. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, who else did they play? Portland or somebody?
I don't know who they played for sure, but I know 2 were against the
Yeah, so they beat Portland by freaking 30. So that's why he got 50 fantasy points in 26 minutes. The 2 Sacramento wins, and then they beat. I mean, the Nuggets are freaking good. Now's the time to. I'm not on the free show as much, but now's the time to bet the Nuggets. MPJ, the rumors are he looks incredible.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray's looking better, and the Nuggets. I mean, Jokic is just so damn good. If he gets a little bit of help from MPJ and Jamal to go with these guys, now's the time to bet them because I think they could come on strong if MPJ comes back healthy. But yeah, I don't know. Like Jokic is always in play for me. I think he's clearly the top dude as far as at the top, but I do agree with DC. I don't know if you have to go all the way up. It's much like Giannis. When these dudes are 12K, you just you need them to get you in the 70s almost in a tournament. Even if they get like 60, you're not totally, don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, if you guaranteed me in the 60s, I'd probably play him a good percentage. But if he gets you like 53 or something, you're almost dead these days. I mean, other guys are going to crush, and you're just losing so much equity with that extra. You're talking like Fox. These guys are like 8K. So they're literally 4K cheaper than Giannis. If they get in the 50s, Giannis and Jokic need 70 plus, which they could get. Obviously, I'm not saying they can't get it. I will have some Jokic. I mean, probably on one of my 2, I'll go a little bit Denver heavy. I still like these other Denver guys too when they're like this, mainly Barton and Monte. I think I'm the only one in the world that keeps playing Monte, and he's always 1% owned like every single slate. And he gets me like low 30s a lot of the time. Not huge upside, but just a solid play to go with a guy like Jokic, especially in this matchup. And the nice thing about OKC tonight, if you play Jokic, you got a lot of cheap pieces that fit with them. Like this, I have no idea how to pronounce this Krejci dude because he played how many minutes last game? He played
Krejci. Is that his name? Is that the one I'm trying to say?
Poku, obviously. Yeah, something like that.
He played 29 minutes last game, and he's 3K. I think he fits great with a Jokic build. You got guys like Poku, who we've seen upside at times, 4,100. You got all these cheap pieces. Sar's a decent dude. How many minutes has he been playing? Let me see. Sar played. He played 26 minutes last game for 17. He's 3K. So the nice part about playing Jokic, I think you can throw a few flyers. And I like Trey Mann a lot too. Trey Mann's looked really good lately. He did have a stinker. I just played him the other night.
He's 7-2 on FanDuel. Which is egregious, by the way. He's 5'6".
Yeah, it makes me want to play him though. On FanDuel, look at his numbers. So 4 of the last 5 games, he's gone for 35 plus. He had 1 stinker the last game. I just think he looks good. He was talented in college. I think he's a talented guy, and no one's going to play him.
There's no Giddey. There's no Dort, right? So there is opportunity for that second.
Tons of opportunity. The best part about playing this build, no one's going to play these dudes. Outside of Jokic, no one is going to be played in this game. That maybe Poku a little if he starts. But
Poku's definitely been getting ownership. I think with the Suns news, it maybe changed a little bit, but people do like Poku today for sure.
I know I like Poku in this matchup because it is a good spot for him. And if he keeps getting 26 minutes like last game, he's going to get there. He's going to get there. So I one of my 2 teams is for sure going to be Jokic with at least a couple of these pieces that are in the cheap range. And it kind of fits good. If you can roll the dice on some of these 3K dudes like Krejci and like Sar and some of these 3K dudes, you can fit some studs even with Jokic.
What about SGA? You didn't talk about him yet, but if the game,
Man, I have a hard time at 10K. I have a real hard time at 10K. He's been good though.
Yeah.
I don't think I would play him with Jokic. I don't know. I'm indifferent. I don't have a strong take. Maybe you guys can lean me on SGA.
You probably watch more Nuggets than I do, Big T. The question with SGA is, can he get to the basket? Which I think
he probably can.
Yeah, against the Nuggets backcourt. I mean, and then once you get there, can he finish? Yeah,
he probably can.
Right?
I think he can.
Yeah, that's what I think too. So I do like SGA at 10K. I think you compare I think a fun build tonight is pairing SGA with Joker and then playing the value OKC with SGA, right? Krejci is 3K. He came in for Wiggins, who got injured like 6 minutes into the first quarter of their last game, came right in for him and then started the second half. They didn't get any guys back, so I do expect Krejci to be in the starting lineup. He was aggressive, shot the ball 12 times, including 6 3-pointers. Like, I think he's like a combo guard, which is what OKC is missing, right? They have nothing in the backcourt right now, outside of obviously Gilgeous-Alexander and to some extent Man. So I think Krejci is going to get his chance. I think there's a decent chance he's blowout proof, including perhaps point guard run in the case of the fourth quarter blowout. So I like him. And then Poku, I mean 4,100, he looks good to me too. Not afraid to shoot from deep, a skilled player, right? And they seem committed to giving him the minutes. So I like this OKC side, and you've got obviously the perfect run back with Joker sitting there, right? So yeah, I think there's a lot to like here.
I think the more I'm looking at it, it's a free show, but I like our free people too. I think OKC might be the nuts. Like
even Roby's starting at center. He's been getting in foul trouble, but
yeah,
if he doesn't, they just stop playing Derek Favors altogether.
Which they should, by the way.
Yeah,
too.
I agree. Yeah.
If you play Roby and you play Jokic, you do miss out on Ayton, which obviously we'll talk about that in the next game.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah, but we're playing tournaments though. We can get off somebody. Yeah.
I know, but he's good chalk too. I'm just saying, like, so that is something to discuss as well. Like, but I definitely don't think it's a bad.
You guys aren't talking about Sar's the guy I like. I watched him at Kentucky. He's 3K. He's gonna play minutes. They don't have dudes.
Just to call out again, he's center eligible too, right? A lot of opportunity cost, but I'm just calling
them.
I get it for sure, but when he gets you 25 and Joker gets you 75, and you get 100 from those two, I don't care what Ayton does.
I don't disagree. I mean, the minutes have been good. 21, 26.
I think OKC's the nuts. Like, look at these dudes. They don't have bodies. If you assume Favors doesn't play much, they only have like 8 dudes.
Yep, you're not wrong.
And Denver doesn't play defense. They don't. I think OKC's the nuts. I like
Denver doesn't play defense. If you remember watching that Kings game the other night, they were happy letting Sabonis and Fox do whatever they want because it didn't matter. They were just like, we're going to win anyway, so we're just good.
The Sar call is interesting to me because
I like Sar a lot. I do. I really like him.
Well, that's the thing that's killing me. But
yeah, because he and Roby are basically playing the 48 center minutes combined. So you're talking a combined salary of 7.4 for probably 48 center minutes against Denver. Probably one of them is going to get there. It's just I
can almost guarantee one of them is going to crush.
Yeah, I think so too. And it would make sense, if you want to go with Sar, like the narrative that you're building with the other OKC guys, maybe doing work early, Joker's doing work, maybe he gets what is his name? Roby into foul trouble, and then Sar comes in and kind of cleans up against the bench. So I could see that happening.
Yep. Let's move on. Let's talk about the last game. We got how many likes we got? We're at 296. We need 4 more. We'll get out those plays of the day, and then the premium show, they'll be coming up next. Also, one last thing, guys, subscribe to that video. We got tons of Showdown golf content coming this week. So subscribe to get notified when we go live. We got MMA stuff, and we got it all over here at Run Pure Sports, NASCAR. You don't want to miss out on it. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that red button. Let's talk about this last game. Let's talk about the Blazers. Let's talk about the Suns. And DC, let's go to you first. Suns are great plays today. Obviously, they're missing Chris Paul. They're missing Booker. Campaign should be starting. Bridges, 6K. Cam Johnson, 5'3", should be in the starting lineup and should play well. Jay Crowder, 5'1". He's fine. Not someone I'm jamming to my teams, though. DeAndre Ayton is 6.8K. good center option. But again, center is really loaded today. So how are you handling these Suns? And then what are you doing with the Blazers options as run backs?
Suns are, one of the biggest question marks, I think, on this slate. And obviously an island game here, right, is at 10 Eastern time. So very interesting. Cameron Payne has missed he hasn't played since January 22nd. So a long period of time, almost a month and a couple of weeks before Cameron Payne's last played. Obviously missing Paul now, missing Booker. But Payne was the guy that was the kind of the best play, when the best player guard on their team when those two were playing, Booker and Paul. And now we're getting quotes from Monty Williams, the Sun coach, that Paul might be out the rest of the year. It sounds like Payne, they want to be their starting point guard. Now he's probably going to get a chance to do it without Booker in the lineup too, right? But first came back, we don't know how many minutes. So that's a challenge. It was a wrist injury. So you would think his, cardio and shapeness shouldn't be too much in question. So I like him, 4,300 for campaign. They seem to have given up on Elfrid Payton. So I think they want Cameron Payne to take this role. And, it's a great spot, a soft landing spot, right, for your first game back against a really bad Portland team. You're at home. So I think I'm going to eat that campaign chalk. Looks too tasty to me unless we get a report that his minutes are going to be severely restricted, which I don't think we'll get that. So I'm in on Payne. DeAndre Ayton, maybe. I get the matchup's good, but I don't know. To me, he's not like a post type scorer. He needs someone kind of setting him up for most baskets. Now he's missing Paul and then Booker as well. So he makes me a little bit nervous at 6,800, especially if you keep mentioning him, Mango. I assume he is going to be big chalk, by the way.
Mango's definitely got 8 tonight. I'll tell you that much.
My issue is
I don't consider him like a must play at all. Like I don't really think I'm fading that much. I'm like, I don't know.
I think he's a really good play, but the only issue I have is
he is definitely going to be on Mango's Billy team. I'll throw it out there.
There's a good chance for sure. I mean, he's a good play. Center's just
every play we've talked about the whole show.
Might as well make him the play of the day because we know
man, that Ayton play.
You guys kill me. I value center spots so much, like in the construction, because if you play 2, it's like, well, then it can mess up stuff. So
you don't value him that much if you're that excited to play DeAndre Ayton.
I mean, they don't have anyone, right? And it's Portland. It's a good spot for sure. It's like these other guys. I think Ayton, Jokic, I think Allen and Gobert are like the four of the best centers, when you're spending up your salary. I understand Big T's point with those cheapies, but I think there's a lot of opportunity cost at that position for sure. What did you think of Cam Johnson, DC? I didn't hear you talk about him. I like him here in this spot. You could see Portland go smaller at times if they'd like to, where maybe they do put Cam Johnson at the 5. Maybe that does hurt Ayton a bit. What do you think of a Cam Johnson?
I don't hate it, but to me, they are still not that thin kind of on the wing, right? They have Johnson, Crowder, Bridges, Holiday, Shamet. So a bunch of guys that can kind of play those 2, 3, 4 positions. And then they've got Ayton and McGee playing the 5. So I don't know. I don't think the minutes are as secure. He shot the ball really well recently. I know his fantasy scores have been good, but a lot of those are shooting 5 for 7 from 3, 7 for 11, kind of unsustainable type shooting. So he's a fine play, but to me, I'm kind of betting on the, campaign, kind of taking the reins here, and the rest of it gets spread out. I'm sure they'll have another guy that goes off, but I don't know if it's going to be Cam Johnson or Bridges or Crowder or Ayton. But Payne is the guy I want.
Yep, Payne's definitely the best for sure. And then mixing and matching him is what matters. Big T, it sounded like you didn't like Payne as much. And then answer the question: how many Suns are too many? What's the rule today? Because that's the big question on this slate. I don't know how many put in my lineups. I mean, I've seen lineups with 4, I've seen them with 3, I've seen them with 2. It seems like you got to have some Suns in your lineups today, Big T.
I mean, so one of the things people like when I do the shows is I have some contrarian takes. And that's one of the advantages to having them premium. We can kind of break it down, talk about our core plays when you're on the Up to Lock show. So if you haven't signed up, definitely check it out, because the Up to Lock show, we go even more in depth with stuff. But honestly, I don't know. I think I have a strong take on this, and it might not be right. I don't like campaign, especially when he's going to be massive chalk. I just don't trust the minutes. I actually think Elf could play again tonight. He hasn't played because of Booker. You don't need Elf to play when Booker can run the 1. Without Booker in there, Payne hasn't played in months. I literally don't get the projection. The projection doesn't make sense to me. I do get, first of all, I should clarify this because I want it to be clear. I think he's a good play at 4,300. I think he'll get like 25 fantasy points, but I mean, his projection like 36, I would love to bet the under on that. Like I would absolutely love to bet the under on his projection because I just don't see it. They're 6.5 games up in first place. DC laid it out perfectly. He's projected to be the point guard if CP3 can't come back. Why in the world, after 3 months, are they going to come and play him 30, 35 minutes? Like, it's not going to happen, in my opinion. They don't care about this game. I could see him spreading it around. It's the same reason I don't like Ayton. DC basically Mangone always talks about how I can listen and kind of form my own stuff based on other people. DC laid it out perfect for me without even realizing it. You got guys like JaVale McGee's going to eat some minutes on Ayton. I just don't see it with these Phoenix guys, and they're going to be the chalk of the slate. My favorite would be Cam Johnson because I think he can run the point a little bit. He's shown us upside too. I mean, when you click on him and look, I mean, the dude, and this is with Booker, I think even a few of them, but 35 minutes, 37 fantasy points, 31 minutes, 37, and he's still 5,300. I think he could be like point Johnson. He's only a 1K more than Campaign. Anyone that wants action, I will take Campaign. Well, I mean, I'll take Cam Johnson over Campaign. I know it's a 1K difference, but I just don't like Campaign chalk, and I'm glad that everyone's going to play him on a Millie Maker type night because even if he gets like 25 and everyone plays him, I got a different build, and I'll just take my chances. So I'm off Campaign. I'm off Ayton. I don't like Ayton at all. I think he gets like 35. I hate these Portland guys, Josh Hart. I don't like all these wings are going to clamp up. That's why the spread's 11 because these wings are going to clamp these Portland guys and they're not going to score. So for me, I think the Suns play 10 dudes. I think they run them all. Nothing crazy minute wise. They don't care about these wins. They're in first place. They want to be healthy. I just don't get it. So I'm happy it's a Millie Maker night because I freaking hate Campaign and Ayton.
What ownership do you think for Campaign and
outrageous? Like I think like 70%.
Yeah, it's going to be very high for
right.
sure.
Well,
and I don't understand the projection. Mangone, you're a projection guy. Like, how can you project him for 36 fantasy points?
36 is a lot. I wouldn't be that high.
It's outrageous to me.
Here's the other thing. He doesn't have to be at 36 to be like one of the best plays in the slate.
I get that. And that was my point too. Like I would project him probably, my honest projection would be like mid to high 20s, which he's a great play still, which I'm not saying that, but I like the different roster construction. Even if like, say you guaranteed 29, are you playing him if I tell you he gets 29 at 70% owned?
I mean, probably, but I haven't built enough.
You guys both do, even at 70%?
4,300.
Yeah,
on this slate, yeah, probably.
I don't have to worry about De'Aaron Fox getting maybe 29 or McCollum. Like I just say, I'll sign up for that and I'll move on. I'll figure out the rest if you can give me that. But
if you're good with mid 20s, then he's a good play for sure.
One last thing I'll mention. You said all those guards are gonna be locked up, so go bet Ayton to get a double in the first quarter because he'll just get all those rebounds, Tony. Get that quick. I
definitely don't like Ayton with you either.
I know.
I get why people like these guys, though. I mean, they're technically in good spots and they're shorthanded. I just don't think they play the minutes that everyone else thinks they do.
Yep. And K Fallick is mad because we're over the time. And he says, what about the three other guys? K Fallick, I would care if you went to Kentucky because you're not going to Kentucky. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize to you, JSU and Holden, but K Fallick, no apology over to you. Let's go to the plays of the day, though. Let's get that
going. Dude in the chat, one final point. So would you play Elf Big T? If I was playing 150 today, I would. I would play him in one. I'm not going to play him in my two. Unless he somehow started, then I would. Like if they said he starts, then I would for sure.
Here's another idea, Big T. Your team's struggling right now early on. Play Elf over Payne.
1,000,000%. I think Elf's a good play tonight. I do. I think he's a good play.
Yeah, if you're in trouble.
Very risky, though, obviously.
If you're in trouble, make that pivot. Maybe get some salary to move up to another guy. Definitely a good idea if you're behind.
What if the game blows out too and Elf plays the whole fourth or something? Like you got outs with Elf.
For sure. Let's go to the plays of the day. DC, I'll go over to you. Who do you got? Who is the mom basement play of the day?
Yeah, a little bit of a gut call here, but I'm going Sengun for the Rockets. Alperen Sengun. I think he's going to get in there early. Maybe some Christian Wood foul trouble, maybe a blowout. Not sure exactly how it's going to be, but very productive player on a per minute basis, and just how Houston's been playing, I think trending. This game just seems one that's trending in his direction. Seems like every week or two we get a Giant Sengun game coming off the bench. You get him, I don't know, sub 5% owned probably at a low price point. So yeah, I'll go with Alpero Sengun.
Yep, like that one a lot. Definitely good call there on that. I'll go to mine, and you think I would say a center. I'm not gonna even say Aiden. I'm not even gonna say the other guy. I like Jared Allen. I talked about him. I think the more we discuss on this show, I really like De'Aaron Fox. I think Fox is gonna be my guy at 8.1K. I think it's too good of a spot. When we did the free shows last year, I got made fun of for playing Fox at 9K from Big T. We're coming full circle, Big T. 8.1K Fox ships one of us the Millix. I feel like you'll be on him as well. I think I'm going to be on him too. Who is your guy though, Big T? Who is the workbench play of the day?
Yeah, so we kind of broke it down pretty good. I think hold on a second. I'm pulling up the price. Yeah, I'm going back to my roots. I haven't been on the free show in a while. All the workbench plays started with cheap plays that were unowned. And I'm going with my boy Sar tonight. I feel good about him. He's 3K. We don't even have him projected. Captain, get a freaking projected on my boy Sar. He's projected for, that's why I couldn't find him, because he's projected for 0 on SaberSim with our project. Captain, give me a projection on Sar, because he's the workbench play of the day. I love him. I think even if Roby doesn't get in foul trouble, I think Sar gets 18 minutes or so in that range. I think he gets way more if we get foul trouble with Jokic. And DC kind of laid it out too. He might play some of those non-Jokic minutes, which I like.
Yeah.
He'll roast Boogie. I mean, Boogie guarding this dude, he's going to roast him. So I think he's very sneaky at 3K. And on a slate where we got a bunch of expensive guys we like, I don't think the risk is very high. So I'm going with my boy Sar. He's not on FanDuel. Are they being serious?
Yeah, they don't have him on FanDuel.
Oh, my boy's not on FanDuel.
We got
if he's not on FanDuel, then play another OKC guy.
Play Vit. Is that the one, or Poku? Which one is it for FanDuel?
You guys are serious? He's not serious. He's not on FanDuel. Son of a bitch.
Oh, you say that. I don't know. Listen, I actually don't mind the call, but when a guy's named Oliver, I don't know how many guys are named Oliver getting that W.
I don't think that's his name's the funny part. There's an I in there. He played at Kentucky. I think it's something else.
He's French. It's Olivier.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Does that change your opinion, Mango? Oliver to Olivier? It might.
Now it's something I'm interested in.
Just for the FanDuel people, since he's not on there, just give me another OKC guy who's min priced. Like this Krejci, he's got to be min priced. He'll be my workbench play on fan. I don't like it as much, but just to keep it a cheap OKC guy, Krejci on FanDuel.
Sounds good. That is everything for us. We're 5 minutes over. I don't know if you blame Big T. I don't know if you blame me, but
blame
if you want to blame
K-Phallic.
anyone, let's blame K-Phallic. Send him a DM and complain that the show went overtime. He'll be on the Up the Lock show with JSU. So be sure to check that out with Holden as well. For me, Mango and DC and Big T, we'll see you guys later.